Here we are, and here we go. We're going crazy and we're going insane. Rockndaal all over the world. How's that for an intro?
I like it. Feeling pumped.
Welcome back, Bottle Killers. Here we are, another episode of Bottle Kill TV. I'm your host, Michael Roche, and as always, we have the looking very dapper today, very cool, very rock and roll. The often imitated, never duplicated, is the real Bottle Killer. Ladies and gentlemen, how the hell are you? Ready to go?
Oh, I'm ready to rock, Michael, today.
Ready to rock, yeah. We've been promised a rock party with the Rockndaal, which we're going to be looking at today. The Port Charlotte Rockndaal. So the reason we've gone back, because this is actually a release that came out last year, 2023 release.
Yeah.
Festival release. You just tell me how to pronounce the festival. I always struggle on this.
Fèis Ìle.
Fèis Ìle. Nice. You're always
Sheila,
very good on
I think.
Like Sheila's wheels.
Good old Sheila. Yeah.
Sheila. Gotta get us a pasta,
Remember
Sheila. So let's go Rockndaal today. And the reason we did this was because we did the Ìle power rankings where we finally figured out, we put our neck on the line.
We did.
Some would say, and we picked Bruichladdich as the number one Ìle distillery right now. But one of the things that I kind of thought about afterwards is I've not really connected with Port Charlotte for a while. I went wild on the Port Charlotte 10. So I was so high on Port Charlotte last year, which is when they emailed me to enter the ballot to get a Rockndaal.
Yep.
I was really happy to be in the ballot and then buy a bottle of it. In typical me fashion, I didn't actually open the bottle, so I've not actually tried the release yet. But yeah, so before we go back, and we tried the 18-year-old. That's one of the most popular reviews on our channel, so you can see what we thought of the 18-year-old Port Charlotte. But I haven't actually had any experience with the Rockndaal. So just tell us a bit about the age statement. Tell us a bit about what's going down with the Rockndaal Bottle Killer.
Yeah, so the Rockndaal, as Michael said, it's a special release for the Ìle Festival, the Fèis Ìle. And it was released at 16 years old. So Bruichladdich has been on a bit of a journey. It changed hands a few times. I think the last time that it changed hands was 2012 when it was taken over by Remy Cointreau. But prior to that, they only actually started distilling Port Charlotte around about 2000, 2001. Now, this was distilled in 2006. It's a 16-year-old age statement. So what we're going to be drinking today, and like Michael said, with the 18-year-old coming out earlier this year, it's going to be like older stock of Port Charlotte. So, I'm expecting a nice rounded kind of dram. I guess they're trying to mix it up, as I say, rock it up a little bit, jazz it up. We're going to put it to the test, see if it's actually more rock and roll than your traditional Port Charlotte. But it's a mixture of red wine casks. It doesn't specify what type of red wine casks they are, and sherry casks as well. Again, not super transparent in terms of the cask makeup, but probably expecting more of those fruitier, the drier notes. No, certainly you're a fan of the wine casks. It's bottled at 50%, so it's not quite a cask strengther. 50% tends to be a pretty typical ABV that Bruichladdich use. I know we were drinking the Classic Laddie when we did the Ìle Power Rankings last. That's bottled at 50% as well. So we should have a nice, robust, punchy, rounded, aged Port Charlotte for us to dive into.
Has it got sherry butts?
That's more hip hop. That's not rock and roll.
I thought I read there was some butts, some sherry butts in this.
Keep the big butts for the hip hop episode. We're
okay.
rock and roll today.
Okay. I feel like have you seen Big Daddy?
Big Daddy,
the
yeah.
movie.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, the kid puts on the sunglasses and he becomes invisible.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this isn't a real episode because we've got sunglasses on. I feel like the kid in Big Daddy.
Yeah.
So let's tuck in. Don't let me stop you.
Not at all.
So give it a little nose. And tell us, what your first thoughts with this being Port Charlotte is Bruichladdich peated, mildly peated version, isn't it? Because they have Octomore, which is heavily peated.
Yeah.
And so I'm expecting a lot smokier, leathery notes from this. What are you getting?
Definitely the smoke coming through. Red fruits, as you'd expect, rich and spicy as well. First impressions.
So what are you thinking? Cherries, currants, blackberries.
Yeah, do you know what? Funnily enough, I was.
Did I get them right?
Maybe it's Para's suggestion, but I was blackberry picking with the Little Bottle Killers and Mrs. Bottle Killer this morning. not very rock and roll. But
That's rock and roll. Mick Hucknall's got a child now.
yeah,
You know,
you've got to look after the family as well. But I do get the blackberry, that bramble, rich, sticky kind of almost jammy fruits, like
Defo jammy.
blackberry jam. Yeah,
I've been called jammy once or twice in my life, but this is definitely that. It's definitely jammy.
yeah, and the peat as well. It's kind of, I'd say it's like an earthy peat.
I'm getting cigarettes like tobacco.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is like Marlboro Golds. I'm getting in
fresh. Just ripped the foil off a fresh pack, ready to chain smoke 20 like Sid Vicious.
It smells a bit like your sofa as well. The old leather couch. I'm getting like Marlboro Golds, leather couch, berries, red currants. This is because one thing, if you watch our channel regularly, is that we are really we are very smell led in a lot of ways, aren't we? Like, we really enjoy the smell of the different whiskeys.
Yeah.
And we really love like the candy and those like real sprightly whiskeys. This is a lot different. This is like the Tom Ford, the Tom Ford for men, like the Tuscan leather.
Yeah,
and the tobacco vanille.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving those sort of like an adult smell vibe, rather than the sweet shop. The one where I said I went to the Odeon, is like pick and mix. It's giving This is the opposite. This is like real adult stuff.
Yeah, this is a grown-ups whiskey, isn't it?
This is the big boys. Put your big boy pants on. We're going in.
It's like, like you say, leather sofa, granddad's armchair.
Just we're missing the Werther's original.
Yeah, there's no Werther's in this one, not at all.
Yeah, this. I'm really excited for this.
Does have a little bit of honeyed kind of sweetness there as well.
Okay, so first sip. What's the did you say what's the proof on this? What's the alcohol content on this?
50% this one.
Because it's very. We haven't had a dram today. We've hitting this like sort of our first dram of the first review of the day, first dram of the day. So that's been a little bit harsh coming in straight in. I wasn't quite adjusted, so maybe just give it a moment for me.
Yeah, it does come in kind of hot. Hits you straight away. And obviously, like, I've got that tingle on the tongue as well. That's the first dram that I've had today.
But yeah, this is old punk, big funk, old junk. This is still rock and roll to me. This is strong. It's coming in, and it's kind of got the. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a thickness.
Yeah.
But it's got like this like takeover, like the Jay-Z, the takeover, the breaks over. It like comes in and it's like I'm gonna win this one. I'm gonna dominate. This is your mouth is mine now. This is my territory now.
It's powerful, isn't it? Punchy. I think it's rich as well. See, when
really, really rich, but not in a rich of the the cliche sort of like, oh, it's like carrot cake.
Yeah.
No, the Christmas cake. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not that way rich. It's like it's a rich as in like a different richness.
Yeah. I think when I first tried this, do you know what? My initial impressions were it felt really rounded with it being a 16-year-old, but I don't know if it is just because this is the first dram that we've had today, that it's kind of like it's come in and hit me. I don't want to say harsh. I don't think that's the right word for it, but maybe because in my mind I remembered it being a pretty rounded dram. Very balanced. Maybe it's just kind of caught me a little off guard, and it's come in with a lot more power.
It's rounded
than I was expecting.
It's rounded. I think it's the power that's hitting you. I think it's because it's the first dram of the day. I think that's what's giving you it. But you can just tell after a few sips, like it is actually incredibly well rounded as a whiskey. So
yeah,
you can't throw that at it because it couldn't be further from that. It is rounded.
Yeah, it's going down a lot easier at the second sip. Getting some chocolate notes there. Again, I think the richness of like sticky medjool dates really kind of caramelized. I think there's the appearance of the red fruits as well, kind of coming through, following through that we're getting on the nose. Those kind of blackcurrant flavors, red berries, a bit of kind of cocoa powder as well. Kind of mid palate to heading into the finish, getting like chocolate notes coming through.
I'm getting like smoked bacon, smoked ham, smoked cod, smoked fish, smoked everything. Basically, it's one smoky son of a bitch.
It is smoky, isn't it? But I think going back to the nose as well, and doing the Isle of Power rankings that we did on the last episode, you kind of try and categorize the different types of peat, and it's incredible that all peated whiskies are different. The peat I was drinking, Bunnahabhain last night, the one that I can't pronounce, like Toshakagar or whatever it's called. And it's a very maritime kind of peat. It's got that saltiness, but the smoke is there, softer, more subtle. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum, Lefroy, where it's that really TCP, iodine, antiseptic, medicinal peat. And where I'm kind of putting this is more in the middle of like earthy, musty, again, the leather, the tobacco, the kind of like cigar ash. When you've smoked a cigar and the ash is just like still hanging off the end, you're just waiting for it to drop.
It's interesting because I was just going to wait for you to finish, and then my next point I was thinking in my mind to say was, I'm always a little bit limited in terms of my lexicon or whatever you want to call it, in terms of the way I can express what I'm feeling. But if I was to put this, when you said there's different types of peat, what I would put this next to is the next thing that my brain can think of is the Dalmore cigar malt as a comparison to it. So it is that cigar-y, smoky, leathery type of peat.
It's got cigar, leather armchair, tobacco kind of vibes, hasn't it?
Puffin rooms.
Big time. But I think as well, one of the things that we've not really touched upon is the balance. Because I think when you get a well-aged whiskey, you're expecting like complexity where you've got different layers of flavor, but you want those flavors to work together well, where there isn't like a note that's kind of dominant or overpowering. So yeah, initial kind of tasting, I was like, whoa, wasn't quite expecting that first dram of the day. But second, sort of third sip, now that the palate's warming up, I'm finding it to be very rounded. You've got this lovely kind of interplay between the sweetness with the honey, the richness of the wine casks, the sherry, the red fruits, the berries, the blackberries in there. And then contrasting that is the leathers, the tobaccos, the peat smoke as well. So it's a really, really interesting one to explore, offering up a lot, definitely. The chocolate, kind of cocoa powder, spices, clove.
It's absolutely beautiful, and this is like a big boy whiskey. This is one that we have some friends that are quite sophisticated now in their whiskey tastes. Like you've met them on the channel, like Dariush and Canadian J. This is one where there was one where they came up and visited, and you took them to the puffin rooms and stuff. This is one you can really like, people that really know what they're talking about when it comes to whiskey, and they've got the ability to buy some of the more expensive age statements. Because one thing you can say about this, it wasn't cheap, was it? It was like
165, yeah,
for a 16-year-old, which is pretty expensive. It was just because it was like a special buy for me that I bought it. But it is the if you really want to go, if you've got the ability to go a little bit deeper when it comes to the age statements,
yeah,
this is delicious. And if you like the sort of the sort of the, what's the word for it? It's like grown. It's like an adult peat.
Well, it's a maturation, isn't it?
It's like an adult whiskey.
Why?
It's mature
Yeah.
peat. I'd describe it as.
Yeah, I think that's why they call it a maturation, because it's the aging process is giving the flavors more time to round off, to integrate. It's taking on more of the woody flavors from the cask, from the types of casks that are used in this expression. I think at the time, from recollection, yeah, it was 165 quid, but I'm pretty sure at the time it was the oldest Port Charlotte that they'd released. Obviously, this is going back to the summer of 2023. We're now summer 2024, and the 18-year-old has come along. I'm pretty sure that a 21-year-old was released for this year's festival. So it was one that people got excited about, and I think with good reason, based on what we're experiencing today.
Yeah, well, this kind of like brings me back to like the Isla rankings, and I'm so glad that were we put Bruichladdich where we did, because this is remind me of Port Charlotte and what a hitter is. Now, what we've also done is we've also, one of the most popular reviews on our channel was the Port Charlotte 18. So it's a distillery that people are really interested in, and it's a sub brand of that. It's like Springbank have Hazelburn, which is unpeated, and Longrow, which is peated. Bruichladdich have the same thing going on. So the Port Charlotte is the mildly peated version. That's why we use all of these terms interchangeably if it's kind of like your first time. But the people with the 18, people are really interested in the Port Charlotte 18 on that, much more than the Bruichladdich, actually, it seemed by the comments on that video, and the sort of the feedback we got from that video. So we've actually poured an 18.
Yeah.
So we can do a comparison, because that right now is like, interestingly enough, if you would have the first, I said, oh, it's a bit first sip. I was thinking straight away, does it need some water? I don't know. I don't know. I'd put water in that.
I didn't put any water in it. I was drinking a few different drams last night, and I was experimenting more with the water, just like putting it in. And in some it worked really well, and in some it kind of took the flavors away. I think, more open to the idea of like just adding a couple of drops, letting it kind of sit, bringing out more of the flavors now. I didn't put any water in that one. I don't think it needed it. But yeah, maybe it'd be something to experiment with as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's it depends, because if you put water, does that, you've kind of raised a good point there. If you put water in it, it's to try and expand the flavors of the whiskey. It's to try to have it work in a different way. Whereas I kind of think if it's a little bit harsh to you, water it down. And I'm kind of like dilute it a little bit in that point. But actually, you're right. Actually, I've got a bit left, so maybe that's one after the 18. So you give us your thoughts on the 18, because I know this is one that as soon as they released the 18, you went out and bought it.
Yeah.
You're a big sort of Bruichladdich fan. You've got a 32-year-old that you bought, interestingly, early on in the year. The Bruichladdich 18, you bought 2 of those. You loved it so much.
Yeah.
And then the Port Charlotte 18. So what's your sort of what's your memories of the Port Charlotte 18, and then?
I think it's great. I was drinking it not too long ago. I mean, in terms of like notes, we've got a
just nose this. This is just how different is this?
Oh, it's so different, isn't it?
That is unbelievable. Are you sure you got the right bottle you poured there? That doesn't even seem like a what cask? What is the cask difference in the 18?
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot now. I'm sure this has got wine casks in it as well. Let's have a little look.
More of like a Manzilla cask, maybe?
Info on the bottle. I want to say there was Sauterne casks in it, which is like a sweet wine. I'm pretty certain.
It's much sweeter, and yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
It's not. Wow, that I can't believe how you can have such a vast difference in like a 2-year release, but of course it's different casks.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check what casks are in that one. But it's a completely different kind of cask makeup, isn't it? It's way
So you've got a, that's really interesting, because with this you had an incredible well-rounded whiskey, but there's an extra level of smooth on this.
Yeah.
You can instantly tell.
Yeah, so the first time that I put my nose into this after just drinking and nosing the 16-year-old, immediately I thought, wow, that's creamy. It's got this kind of like much softer, creamy kind of buttery kind of sweetness to it. Those like kind of the grassy kind of notes as well. Dried hay is certainly a lot lighter. It's a lot lighter in colour. But there was I can't remember which one it was, but there was one that you described as like slightly cheesy, which is a bit of an off note. I do get a kind of funky kind of cheesiness, just a little slight twang on the nose of this one as well.
That was a review we did in the kitchen. I can't remember what
it was. Yeah, I'm trying to think what it was. Maybe it was the Deanston one.
I think it's the Dean.
I think it was, yeah. Cheese Club.
The only rule about there was 2 rules for Cheese Club. First is you can't talk about Cheese Club. Second rule is you can't talk about Cheese Club, and so we won't talk about Cheese Club on the podcast. Okay, I told you that before. So
It's a good thing.
I'm seeing a lot of new faces at Cheese Club. It means you're breaking the first rule too. I've already said enough. Cut this bit out, okay? Edit this bit out. We said too much. So what are you thinking in the comparison between these two? Because it's really, really interesting because this has got an incredible. I've just added some water. I haven't had it with water yet, but this has got an incredible like age to it. It's got an incredible like aged Port Charlotte to it. But I actually think that what naturally my palate would take, I like the smokier version of the 16-year-old, the Rockndaal.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more rock and roll than I thought.
I just think they're both really good, aren't they? And completely different whiskies.
They are completely different. They're
such
actually
a,
not comparable, are they? As you would think.
It's difficult to compare because they are that different. This is very smoky though. On the palate and the finish, there's a lot of smoke there. Ashy.
But it's not the dominant smoke that this one has.
Mm.
So this has got a lot more happening on the entry.
See, I prefer this one.
But it doesn't have the big boy pants. This one that I like. This is, and I'm letting this little bit of water go in to see where I go back. But this like I wear like the leather style aftershaves, you know, where that's the dominant smell. I like, this is gonna sound weird, but I like leather. That's not a kink that I know of. But I like the smell of leather, which is just weird to say out loud. But that really works for me. And in terms of that taste, that tobacco smoke, I adore it. You know, that cigar malt type thing. Just absolutely love it.
Well, one of the things is that obviously everyone's palate, everyone's nose, what they take away from a whiskey is going to be different, and you'll relate it to things like childhood memories. Like I said, it's like your granddad's armchair. I used to go around to my nan and granddad's every Sunday for a roast dinner. My granddad was a smoker. He'd be sat in a big leather chair like this. And the Rockndaal 16, it kind of like, it takes me back there, like walking into the house, the smell of the armchair, the smell of the smoke, the ashtray, so like, because you're naturally kind of attracted to those smells, those flavors, like that's where your mind will be going, and will be why you kind of appreciate that style of whiskey more as well.
Yeah, I just love the mature, and it just does something different I've not had for a long time. That whiskey, and I don't know why. Why have I not experienced? I've not had any. I've not had anything like that since the Dalmore cigar malt, which we had last November, and this is August, right?
Yeah.
I've not had anything of that in that range for so long. I absolutely love it.
Well, you do have a bottle of it. You could just open it.
Well, I think I will. Well, it was. I got it sent to my mum's house. It was in my mum's house for months, and I kept forgetting to take it. You know, you say like, "Oh, we need to take that home with me," and you always forget, don't you? And thankfully, my mum had no friends that were rock and roll enough to open the Rockndaal, so it survived being at my mum's. But this is the water nowhere near as good with water. That don't it didn't need the water.
Don't tarnish it.
It didn't need it.
I'm still on the 18, and I am loving this. Do you know why? I talked about that cheesy note, and I think it's one of the reasons why people like Springbank is because it's often described as like Campbelltown funk, Dunwich funk. I think it's a note that like people just can't quite put their finger on, but they know that it's there.
Yeah, it's like take me to Wisconsin, the home of cheese. It's like cheese curd. You know, cheese curds. It's kind of got the nose cheese curd.
Yeah, and I think this has got that kind of funkiness to it. It's kind of like farmyardy. It's like when if you've ever been to like a farm and like the soil is all like torn up because it's been like wet and like, you know, the horses or the pigs have like stomped all over it, and there's just this like smell that's kind of coming from like the ground being all churned up. It's got that really weird kind of, but it's something that I just love because I don't know.
So a natural thing for whiskey to be is the honeyed, is the oaky, is the vanilla, is the toffee, is the marzipan. I'm saying whiskey distillers. I'm saying we like the farm. Take us out to the farm. Take these cheesy notes. These cheesy notes are great. I think I'm in my cheese note era, my farm era. You know, get the trowel mowing around on that. This farm note, which is one of the reasons you're right. I do love Springbank 10 because it does have that same thing. And I hate to mention it because you might tell the story potentially, which I've heard a million times. The Springbank local barley, it kind of has that. It kind of has that to it as well.
What story?
Oh Christ! Okay, we're back after 10 minutes. We edited that out. So don't worry. If you ever meet Bottle Killer, you can ask him about the Springbank organic barley story. But yeah, I'm in my farmyard era.
Yeah,
I want more rustic. I want more farmy. I want more cheesy, curdy. Whiskies in my life. This is supposed to be a review about the Rockndaal, which I loved, but they're polar opposites apart, and I actually love this as well.
So this is one of the things, and we talk a lot on the channel about distilleries that do things the right way, and I think what's happened for good reason. Obviously, you know, distilleries are businesses. A lot of them are owned by, as we said, large global conglomerate companies. So there is this kind of like feeling as whiskey drinking individuals that quality is going down, and some of the reasons behind that is because it's efficiency, right? Like the old methods, they were more kind of susceptible to variation of batches, you know, things going wrong, and every now and again you'd get like a lucky accident and it'd be this like world, you know, beating whiskey, like 99 out of 100 whiskey, but you couldn't recreate it. And now what they're doing is there's a lot more consistency. I think they've taken kind of some of the approaches that are used in the production of bourbon to really deliver that consistency. But when you look at places like Bruichladdich that we've been to, Springbank that we've been to, where they're still doing floor malted barley, everything in-house, some of the more popular distilleries that are coming through now, like the Daft Mills, small farm distilleries, Kilhoman, where they're kind of doing everything from farm to bottle on the site. These are the ones that are really getting that cult status from the whiskey drinker and the whiskey enthusiast. And I think it's because, like, there's differences, uniqueness that you don't get in a mass-produced Glenlivet or Glenfiddich. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for those. Like, I love sitting down on a summer's day, like just having something that you know is going to hit the spot. But when you want complexity, when you want challenge, when you want something that you've not really experienced before, these are the whiskies that you're going to be going for. These are what you want to drink.
And we waffle a lot on podcasts, and the reason we waffle a lot is because we don't prepare. And the reason we don't prepare is because we want to have moments where we're surprised, and you get the real notes, you get the real excitement and the real passion in real time. It's not pre-rehearsed, it's not pre-written, it's not we made some notes and then we're reciting them slowly for YouTube. It's the genuine passion you're seeing in real time. I feel like I've fudged up. I feel like I shouldn't have wore a Hawaiian shirt today. I should have wore a lumberjack shirt when I'm going in my farm era, right? Should have a straw hat, lumberjack, and then go chop some wood, because there's enough. You never see the Bottle Kill Towers, but there's enough wood kicking about here. Why have you got so many logs in here?
It's a good question.
That's a really good question, actually. Why do you have so many logs?
My wife's cousin is a tree surgeon. So that table over there, this isn't probably going to go in the episode, but that is made from like a tree that he's chopped down. So is that. Lots of wood, very woody.
One day we'll do it behind the scenes, maybe.
Behind the scenes,
behind the couch.
Show the wood off.
So
there was no need for that, was there? I told you it's like
we've had enough like weird leather.
I told you it was
innuendo.
The Emirates Cup. It brings out the Mooney in me.
Yeah, less said the better. So what we'll do is we'll kind of go to the conclusions, and then we'll go to the 2 minute review. But my conclusion of this is, this is actually could be one of my favorite episodes because I love these both so much. And if you would have told me, it's like this is your whiskey journey changing, because I was very sort of like, I thought I'd figured it all out at the start of the year. Now I haven't, because sherry casks have started to become way more influential and what I'm really, really enjoying. Peated whiskey, I wasn't enjoying that much at the start of the year. I liked much more simpler. Actually, these are what excite me the most. And you've got two totally different things. This is like the you're balling in Edinburgh flavor. This is like take me back to my plow. Elton John, Yellow Brick Road. Two totally different scenes, but they're both so exciting and so enjoyable at the same time. I love it. For me, by Bottle Killer.
Absolute, yeah. Both of them are 100% buy for me, no question. And just reinforcing, like, one of the reasons why we were so convincingly both agreed to put Bruichladdich at the top of the Islay rankings.
Yeah, absolutely love it. So, this is we're trying to keep these reviews around 10 minutes, but this is a special one because I didn't realize I said in the Lefroy episode, one of the disappointments of whiskey is you can't obviously compare and contrast same distillery age statements. And this is the example, but I'm not upset about it because they've provided such a great experience right now for us that they are so different that I've kind of learned something a bit about myself today. Is that too deep?
There we go.
And my whiskey journey for doing that. So that's awesome. So I'd say Jerry's final thought, Bottle Killer, take him out.
Well, yeah, thanks for joining us. I think it's been a pretty good experience trying both of these. I've certainly had a good time. I hope you've all had a good time. Michael, have you had a good time?
You already know it.
And we'll see you next time on Bottle Kill TV. So as we always promise on Bottle Kill TV, we've got a short 2-minute review so you can just get the tasting notes on the Port Charlotte Rockndaal 2023 Fèis Ìle release. Michael, why don't you kick us off with this one?
This is an adult whiskey. This is like the Tom Ford ombre leather, Tom Ford Tuscan leather, tobacco vanille, tobacco leather, real sort of like adult whiskey. Cigar malt type whiskey. You want to smoke cigars, you want to smoke cigarettes and enjoy a whiskey with your friends. This is the one to go for. This is beautiful.
Yeah, so nose to finish, like Michael said, it's a really well-rounded whiskey, really well matured with a lot of balance. On the nose, you've got some really lovely fruit notes coming through, blackberry jam, really sticky dates. You've got some nice spices coming through there as well. And, of course, that peat smoke that you're going to get with the Port Charlotte, a really nice earthy kind of peat. Moving into the palate, you've got some lovely sweet honeyed kind of notes. Chocolate, again, that peat smoke is very prominent as well. Lovely kind of ashy charcoals. And then moving into the finish, you've got some nice spices coming through, a little twang of clove. You've got your leather, you've got your tobacco. Overall, it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful dram. Smooth, balanced, sweet, smoky. What more could you want in a whiskey?
And so what we also did is we compared the Rockndaal, which is a 16-year-old Port Charlotte, to the 18-year-old Port Charlotte. I think it is probably my favorite episode I've ever done. Just the passion that it brought out. We went on like a bit of a roller coaster, didn't we? In this episode. So I would go back and check out the whole thing because this blew me away. The 18 it's such an interesting comparison. It surprised me. I know it surprised you as well. I loved it. This is one of my favorites. I think this is like we may be going in a golden period with this one.
I think it's like we've been doing a lot more of this recently. It's that ability to compare and contrast, and because the 18-year-old is so different to the 16-year-old, it brought out a lot more of the flavors for me. So some really unique notes in that one, which we've covered on another episode. So if you want to go back, check out the review that we did on the Port Charlotte 18. You get the full tasting notes on that one right there.